Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr. Matea Rentia, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. Welcome back to another Your Friday 5. Today, I want to share a no-bake fairy protein bark that I have been loving. This is a high-protein dessert this is something that I've made it so many times now. And whenever I know this is actually a hit, this is amazing, that's the time when I share with you guys. I did get inspiration from another recipe on social, and I will go ahead and link that down below because that recipe was amazing, but it called for about a cup of almond flour and a lot of maple syrup and all these different ingredients. And while it was amazing, it just had very little protein in it relative to calories. And listen, I'm not saying that those kind of things are not okay or that I don't have them. I did make it. I did eat it over a week, but it just doesn't get me to my goals of what I need as far as protein and then me just feeling this really fits in. So here's how I completely reimagined it, taking inspiration from that recipe. I will have written underneath this all these ingredient lists, how to make it, and the macros. Remember, it might vary if you use different ingredients at home, but just so you roughly know, just long story short, this amount that I'm telling you, if you make it like this, it will have 4 servings, each of those being 125 calories and about 11 grams of proteins. Really nice usually on that as far as the dessert goes. You're going to mix first these ingredients. You're going to take 2 scoops of a protein powder. I use Devotion Sinful Cinnamon flavor. You all know that I love them. If you're ordering from Devotion, I'll make sure down below if you use the code Dr. Matea, DRMATTHEA at checkout, you save. So you can use that. If you've not ever used them before, I'll make sure to put that link down below. Okay, so there's the 2 scoops of protein powder. This is the one time I want to say, though, that I think as long as you like the taste of the protein powder you have at home, it can work. Oftentimes when I tell you about recipes with Devotion, the reason that it works so well is because it's whey and casein based, so it bakes and cooks really well. This is not a recipe where you need anything to fluff up, and so really I think any protein powder potentially could do this. You have those 2. You're going to mix in there 2 tablespoons of almond flour. You're going to use 1 serving of a sugar-free maple syrup, so like just a sugar-free pancake syrup. I use the Great Value one, nothing fancy. Half a tablespoon of coconut oil. So that's the fat that's going to help bind things together. I'm not going to lie, I screwed around with that so much because at first I was using a tablespoon and then I was like, I want to get the calories lower. So a half a tablespoon was as low as I could go where it would still bind it. It would still taste good, but it wasn't crumbly. Just FYI, when you're playing around with things, potentially, I didn't try it, but potentially you maybe don't even need the coconut oil if you use more of the sugar-free syrup, but you need something to bind it together. That's why you're going to see coconut oil show up a lot in like crumbles and bakes and things like that. The last ingredient when you mix this all together, because you want it to be a dough-like consistency, it's going to be too crumbly if you don't use a little bit of water. So that's going to help bind everything together. Maybe about 1/4 of a cup. Likely you're going to need less. What I would do is just start mixing it together and you just keep adding water in if it's too crumbly until you get a consistency that is like if you were baking bread before you put it in the oven. Then what you're going to do is take a pan, spray the bottom with something non-stick so you can get this off afterward. You're going to put that mix on there and you're going to lay it real flat. Like I'm talking 1/2 centimeter. You don't want it to be too thick because you're actually going to eat this frozen. And if it's too thick, number one, you can't cut it with a knife. You have to wait for it to thaw too much. And part of the magic here is eating this cold. All right, so then you're going to stick it in the freezer for 15 minutes. You're going to take it out. And now that it's cold, you're going to melt separately in the microwave. I just did like 1 minute. I did some Lily's peppermint white chocolate. That is the key with this recipe because it has this super amazing minty, cool aftertaste. So the fact that this product is frozen and then you have that cool mint flavor from the chocolate on top, it really makes it such a refreshing dessert. So you're going to melt some of that on top. Again, I'll have in the macros. I think I used just a very small amount. It was like 10 or 15 grams. I can't remember. So if you want a thicker amount, you can, again, it's a calorie thing where I was playing with like, what could it be where I still got the taste, but it wasn't overly decadent. All right. Then you're going to freeze it an hour and then you are good to go. This lasts multiple days in the freezer. I think I eat it about over a week or 2 and it's been good. Oh, I forgot. On top of that chocolate that you're going to melt on top, I used a few unicorn sprinkles. This has been really good. What I do is I just break it up like you would, for example, a chocolate bark. You know how there'll be like totally like irregular pieces juices, things like that. I'm not overly precious. You guys all know that I don't actually monitor calories and things like that. I'm just about like roughly getting an amount of protein. I think the other day I ate like a third of it after dinner. And so, yeah, that's going to be more than 120 calories, but I really don't care. I know I got over 10 extra grams of protein, and that's good enough for me. You can cut it exactly, or you could just have fun. If you try it, let me know. I love to hear when you make these. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you Monday. That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category, and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode, easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend. I'm listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.